Happy day 10 of keto. Based on my attire, I bet you can guess how it's going. Now, before you say anything, I know what I said. Even if I forget what I said, I have a video that reminds me what I said. But I need a cookie. I need a few cookies. And the fat kid in me decided that maybe I was going to try to make some cream cheese frosting too. What can I say? It's been that kind of a week. So that doesn't mean I'm never going to stop eating sweets or artificially sweet things, but it means today I'm making cookies. You want to make them with me? Let's go. So the coolest thing here, I have a rolling kitchen island that Big built me. And we can roll back here. Okay, so the keto cookies I'm going to make today are an almond flour cookie. The original recipe was from All Recipes, I think. I've made them several times. You know, the low carb thing doesn't change. You know, the recipes don't change if you're doing Atkins, Trim Healthy Mama, keto. All the low carb recipes are the same treats, right? So pretty versed in these. So we're gonna make some almond flour cinnamon keto cookies with, I don't know, maple sounded good. So I'm adding the addition of maple into the recipe. They're very, very simple to make. And so I thought we'd whip them up together, get them in the oven, and then experiment with making cream cheese frosting. It should be pretty straightforward because to make cream cheese frosting, it's basically 1 stick softened cream cheese to 1 stick of butter softened. Okay, so that's the basis. You could do 2 and 2, whatever, but it's even. And then a little vanilla, a little milk, which I forgot to grab the heavy whipping cream out, and then powdered sugar, right? I don't have powdered Swerve. I have granular Swerve. And I ran it through my food processor to try to make it powdered. It's not powdered. It's kind of dusty and granular. So I'm gonna try it anyway because I'm just in the mood for junk food. I'm in the mood for junk food. Anybody else? Okay, let's do it. So this recipe is simple. Grab your pen and paper. First of all, we have a stick of butter that's softened. If you're like me and did not pull your butter out of the fridge to soften your butter, 25 seconds in the microwave, get you this consistency. It's soft, but not melted. Okay, so 1 stick softened butter. To that, we're going to add, actually I'm gonna wait on the almond flour. Let's do the wet stuff first. We're gonna add an egg. Good news about the eggs, my girls are laying again. I've been cussing them every time I have to buy eggs from the grocery store because we don't do any artificial stuff with our hens. And so when the seasons change, they stop laying for a while. So I've been buying eggs from the store, and not only do they not taste as good, but also I'm feeding chickens and not getting eggs. So there's that. But we're back in eggs for this morning, so woohoo! So we're gonna add an egg to our butter. Ooh, they got some tough shells. And just like that, can you see, Chopper? You can't see, Chopper. My puppy's looking in the sink to see what I threw in there. And then I think so, the original recipe is a teaspoon of vanilla, but we're gonna half that and go with a half a teaspoon, if I can find it, of vanilla. It does say sugar-free vanilla on the recipe. We shop at Costco. I don't know if this is sugar-free or not. It's Costco vanilla. If it's not, I mean, I haven't had anything sweet in 10 days, so I'll just, oh yes, I have. Yes, I have. The great whipped cream debacle of 2019, but other than that, I haven't. So if it's got sugar in it, it's fine. So a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And same goes for my maple. I don't know if it has sugar added. I don't know why it would, but it might. And we're gonna do a half a teaspoon of maple. So I'm gonna start by kind of whipping that together, and then we'll add our sweetener in, just like you would add, like typically if you're making cookies, you're gonna do your wet ingredients and then you're gonna add your sugar to it, right? So same principle. Mixing it up. I'm already doing the happy dance because I know I'm gonna have cookies soon. It's so sad. And the puppy loves to dance. dance. Can you see him back there? I start dancing and he wants to dance. All right, so we've got our butter and our egg and our extracts mixed together. And so now we're gonna add our Swerve. And you know, I think when I'm done with this, I'm going to go over the ingredients because that way you don't have to try to write them down in between. Brand new Swerve. Okay, so we want a half a cup of Swerve. Because we want them sweet. I've used a lot of different sweeteners. I like Swerve. It has a weird, like cold taste, aftertaste. It's not really something I can describe. You'll notice it probably when you have it. But it's not bad, it's just different. And otherwise I like it well enough. So I also have used Truvia and then some of the, just like erythritol. And I've not tried monk fruit yet. So that'll be on my list if I continue to eat sweets. I've been trying not to buy the artificial sweeteners so that it's not even an option, but I had some in the pantry, so what are you gonna do? So we're mixing in a half a cup of Swerve. Anyone else keep your utensils on the counter? It's handy. Can't see him, but I have the puppy's full attention. He's sitting right here. And he's gonna be really let down because Swerve's ingredient, I think, is erythritol, which is toxic to dogs. I'm pretty sure that's a fact. Either way, I'm gonna tell him that's a fact because he doesn't get my cookies. I never have cookies anymore and he doesn't get any. But I'm pretty sure you should not share these with your dog, even if you were feeling generous. So the next thing I'm gonna add is your almond flour. And we want 2 cups of almond flour. I keep my almond flour in the freezer. Oh, it has to be blanched. I don't know. I don't even know if you can buy unblanched almond flour, but it does have to be blanched. And I don't know what difference it makes. So we're gonna do 2 cups of almond flour. But I keep mine in the freezer, keeps it, well, I assume it keeps it from going bad. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it would stay fresh in the cabinet. I don't know. But I keep it in the freezer. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon. Woo! I like cinnamon. It's a very heavy. Really, that's probably a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. And then we're gonna mix that. Ooh, it smells good already, you guys. It smells delicious. Can't hardly wait. So what's everyone been up to? Everyone sticking to it? Anyone making cookies? And I mean, most people have, you know, cookies are on plan. Although I was kind of looking at the nutrients on this based on that recipe that I pulled up on All Recipes, and I didn't feel like it had really good carb count, but I'm gonna figure it myself, put all the ingredients in and figure it myself because it didn't seem accurate. It was something like 12 grams of carbs or something crazy, but maybe actually now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that's for the recipe because that would make sense, a carb per cookie. So I bet that is the case. Anyway, I'm gonna double check it because that's who I am. But even if it is 12 grams of carbs, I'm still eating some cookies today. Yeah, it's that desperate. Just like that, your cookies are mixed up. So, back up and preheat your oven to 350 if you haven't. If you don't have a cookie scoop, it looks like an ice cream scoop but smaller, get one. They're handy if you're gonna make cookies. And then I always put parchment paper on my baking sheet because then you don't have to clean your baking sheet as well. Like say you burn something, it happens. Maybe you burnt it. You don't have to scrape it off and they don't stick. And if you're doing several batches, you can just slide your parchment paper off of your cookie sheet, put another one on, and let them continue to cool on a rack or the counter without trying to take them off with a spatula and making them all ugly. And so normally I would kind of press these down with a fork. But I was thinking, because I really want cream cheese frosting, I'm going to instead do like a thumbprint cookie and push it down with my thumb. And that way, when they're baked, I can put the cream cheese frosting in the little well there. Yeah, I think that'll be delicious. Honestly, I've been thinking about my great-grandma's cinnamon rolls all week long, all week. And you know how when you start thinking about that kind of stuff and you just can't seem to let it go. And I just needed something, but I know if I make great-grandma's cinnamon rolls, I will eat them. And then I'll be sorry because there's nothing healthy about those, but they are amazing. So I went with a cinnamon cookie instead. It's not going to be the same, but maybe it'll kind of hit that spot. We'll see. I'll let you know. All right, well, I got 11 cookies, one of which is kind of shy. So out of the 12 cookie recipe, maybe my little cookie scoop, I did it a little too heavy on it, but we'll make it work. So then I'm just gonna squish them down with my thumb. And I kind of want a slightly larger well than what my thumb would allow. So then I'm going and pushing on the sides, making just kind of a little concave in the center of the cookie. These cookies don't spread really at all. I don't know, I haven't made them in a little while, but I don't think that they spread at all. So basically, the shape that your cookie's in when you stick her in the oven, that's how they'll come out. That matters because if you happen to make like a double recipe and you get them real close to the side or whatever, trying to fit extra, if it's a cookie that spreads, you're gonna have a mess in the oven. But these guys, they just kind of sit there and think about what they did. That's what they do. They don't go anywhere. So we'll just put our thumb in all the cookies. They're a little stickier than I would like. As far as to put my thumb in, they're the right texture as far as baking. And had I planned better, I would have some butter right here, which I do. I would have put butter on my thumb, but I didn't. So anyway, we've got 11 cookies with concave centers. I'm gonna throw them in the oven, 350 for 12 minutes. It calls for 12 to 15. I'll probably start checking them between 10 and 12, depending on how much it smells like cookies. And I don't know, am I the only person? Do any of you like gauge how long you cook something based on what it smells like? Because that's seriously my timer. But I'm gonna start with about 12 minutes and then give them a check. Okay, so now let's make some frosting. You know what I could do? Huh. Okay, so I was going to go rinse off my mixer and then make my frosting, but what if instead I switch out my blade on my Ninja and whip it up in there? I bet that would work. We're gonna try it and see. We'll find out together, okay? So first I gotta dump the not powdered dusty Swerve out. It's a mess. And if we're being real honest, I typically clean as I go. And I'm not a fan of leaving a mess to clean at the end, but for the sake of making a video, I'm not gonna be washing the dishes in between. Keep my Ninja parts in my rolling kitchen island. And it's got this little attachment, and I think it's for dough. I bet it'll work just fine for cream cheese frosting though. So we're gonna try it and find out. And that's kind of cool for you. because low carb ingredients are expensive. So we'll find out with my stuff and you can save your stuff. Got a whole jumble of cords over here. Okay, so what we know about, because I didn't look up a cream cheese frosting recipe, I've made it enough that I shouldn't need one. And what we know about cream cheese frosting is that it is a stick of softened butter to a stick of softened cream cheese, about a teaspoon of vanilla or so, and then just powdered sugar until it turns into frosting. That's basically it. Oh yeah, maybe a little milk. But since we're not doing milk, I'm gonna do a splash of half and half. I would say maybe almond milk, but I really don't know that the texture is right of almond milk. I'm not gonna try two things that I'm not sure about. I'm already not sure about this granulated Swerve, so I'm not gonna complicate it further and use the almond milk, and I'm not sure how it will work. So we'll go with heavy cream. So in goes 1 softened cream cheese. And my butter is stuck. One softened stick of butter, like so. I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've always just thought is the cap is about a teaspoon of vanilla. If you've ever eaten at my house, it tastes good. So even if that's not a fact, it works. Let me grab some heavy cream. So we'll start with a splash. I'm wondering though, as I'm doing this, you suppose it'll turn to more butter in there? I don't know. I don't know. So start with a splash of that, and then got a half a cup over here to add. You know what? Actually, I think I can add through the top of this. Okay. Yes, I can. Yes, we can. So what I'm gonna do to begin with is just mix up my cream cheese, butter, vanilla, and heavy cream. And we are going to use the dough setting on the Ninja. It's about the same texture, right, as frosting. Let's try that. Runs it for about a minute, and it looks pretty doughy to me. Oh, I was trying to twist that and it didn't need to be twisted. Looks pretty good. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is a half of a cup, roughly, of my granulated and powdery, dusty Swerve. I'm putting her back on dough. Okay, so it's kind of crunchy. It's kind of very crunchy. Note to self, buy the powdered Swerve. Yeah, it reminds me of cream cheese frosting. The flavor's right, but it's crunchy. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of wipe down the sides. I'm gonna put her back on dough and let it do its thing and see what happens. And then I'll come and show you guys, I'll come back on and show you when it's all through. So Get them all scraped in there because we don't want to waste our frosting. And we'll put that back down on there. All right. I'll show you when it's done. Okay, you guys, grab a pen because I'm about to give you the Cliff Notes version of this recipe. You ready? Okay. So first of all, it's from All Recipes. You're going to heat your oven to 350. You want 1 softened stick of butter, 1 egg, farm fresh is best, but store-bought will work if your girls are on strike. Half a teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of maple, and what else did we put in this? That's all for the wet. And so you're going to mix that up with your mixer, add a half a cup of Swerve, mix that up with your mixer, add 2 cups of almond flour and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's it. Bake at 350 for, it did take about 15 to 16 minutes for these cookies. Could be elevation related, I don't know. So 350, 15, 16 minutes until they're kind of a golden brown. And oh, while they were cooking, I did look up the nutrition facts, and I have to be honest, I'm not really good with all of the math involved as far as, you know, you've got your net carbs, but then you've got your fiber, and you've got your sugar alcohols. But best I could tell, they're about 1.5 carbs per cookie. If you look it over and make them and figure that that's wrong, tell me, because that's what I'm going with, because then I can have more cookies. So, the moment of truth, are they good? Oh yeah, I stuck the frosting into the refrigerator to kind of set up a little bit while they were baking and cooling. And then I'm not going to frost the cookies because I don't want to put the cookies into the fridge and the frosting tries to melt if you don't keep it in the fridge. And I'm not a fan of the cold, hard cookie. So I'll just frost them as I go. But let's see if they're delicious. Taste is great. The cream cheese frosting is still crunchy. So buy the powdered Swerve, but it's just gonna hit the spot. It's not Grandma's cinnamon roll, but it'll do for today. It and a few of its brothers will do for today. So have a great day. Okay, I love you. Bye.